have it on.
And we just gonna ask God to bless the live. Just cover this live, God. Let everything that we say be edifying to you, be edifying to others, God, and pleasing unto you, God. And we thank you so much, Heavenly Father. And we even ask for your permission, even though we're talking about marriage. You are marriage, God. You're married. Your son Jesus Christ is married to us, and so we just thank you, God. And you're married. Your word says you're married even to the backslider, so you're married. So bless this live, God, and just let us make you smile, God. In Jesus Christ's name, we pray, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
I wanna make you smile. Hello, one person.
That's you. Who was that? That's one person.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18 more.
That girl make you feel all kind of ways, don't she?
Talk about the right now. I ain't for this.
That's your other wife.
Someday. So they get the turf when we get the air conditioning below us and we gonna jump.
That's pretty. I guess it's the inside.
Dang, they can come down and just be in the beauty. He says, okay. Well, we'll do that. No, I'll be here. Just sitting and watching. I believe we can just talk and we can share it after this. Yeah, I believe I can be ready to go.
Hey, be
Share it
patient.
in a group. My beloved.
We guess.
I love this song.
Remember we had that fireplace like that was little. That they had red fire, that little
And
electronic log.
the television water thing. I want one of those. Somebody still selling them. That's going somewhere.
I hope
Why would
they
they
do
stop?
something.
I don't know why they stopped selling those.
They-
No, they still sell them in those. Say sound like them those stores.
Hey,
Hey, now Larry Wiley.
Okay, Larry Wiley got in. That's who's that.
So somebody got in.
Marilyn Jenkins.
Hey,
Hey,
Marilyn.
We have to switch to YouTube, man.
Facebook won't let me do it, y'all. I don't know what happened. They won't let us do anything. They won't let me post it to my page. Maybe they should have posted to theirs.
Now you can tell them like, tag, share.
Yeah. Marilyn, can you share it in a group, Marilyn, or something? Because I know I told them 8 something, and then I know I told them publicly. But hopefully they'll see the post. Did you post that publicly?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to roll. But please give me some more. I mean, I can't make it remember like this. Just a little piece. I don't think it stinks or anything, but I'm just saying dragons. You knew one in their pocket.
I ain't know. No, you put it in there.
They go somebody else. Oh, let's say, okay.
Thank you, Marilyn. My throat too needs to be coated. Hey y'all, hey 3.
Hey, it's better than nothing.
Right.
Y'all don't know what went on with my Facebook, but hey, gotta improvise to get the messages out. I shouldn't have announced it. That's what I shouldn't have done.
You thinking of warfare.
Church folks.
Good God. My goodness.
They said, no, she not. Tired of her.
Can't stop now.
I want to get started so badly,
You just want to wait till the people get on.
but I'll wait. Yeah, I will wait. I'm gonna wait on you.
You I can share it on my page.
How are you all? I can't see the like I can see it now. Look at that. Like it hurt.
Hey, y'all.
Hey y'all. I can't see who is who, but cause can y'all hear us well? Can y'all hear us? You can lie.
Brother, share it to me so I can share it.
Alright, hold
We see.
on. Some of the link or
Okay, hold on. I see. I see. Let me
You
see.
see it?
Share. So that's you gonna share it. Mm-hmm.
Y'all come on, you might have to share this because y'all know I'm not on my YouTube with my disobedient self. So somebody said they can hear it. I want to just come all the way up there just so I can have control. I can't see.
Comments. I don't see it. I don't see a live check. Comments. There you go.
Yeah, can we see them? Yes. Oh, y'all my vision. Yes, sounds clear. Okay, okay. But y'all, I know I was trying to do it on the Facebook, but it's having some technical difficulties, and I didn't want to not do the message. So Larry was like, YouTube. So now we're over here, and my sister, my brother, my sister, my husband, and I, we're doing it. He looked up like, ain't your brother?
My brother.
Yeah. So we decided to do. What y'all say? No. So we,
No, please.
Yeah.
no, let me stop.
Yeah, get him out of here.
It's too funny.
He'll be on us next.
What's up, Ellen?
Hey y'all, why won't the chat stay on? I like to
Interact.
interact. Yeah. Let me see, baby. Oh, well, you need your phone too, huh?
Yeah.
You looking at us on it? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Okay, so you can see the chat like that. Okay.
So y'all, we want to just share tonight some marriage stuff that we feel like is so important for people going in marriage and for people that are married. And no, it's not the same stuff. Now I might hit around kind of the same topics, but it's some very personal, very raw stuff that we feel like can help somebody else. When somebody can be honest about their own lives, even if it's something that's deemed hurtful, shameful by communities, whatever, I think that's real important when you can use your own lessons in life to help somebody else. So tonight, that's what we're doing. We're using our own lessons to help somebody because somebody might be getting ready to go into marriage. And is it my page? Can you go to my page? Because I can get it to Chastity. I forgot she wanted to be in there, and Andrea. We can use our own lessons to tell y'all some things. And my sister, she has like something very important to say that I know will help. So
Thank you, Miss Marilyn, for sharing that in the group.
yeah, thank you, sister. On my page. I cannot see because I gotta go to the main page to share it to somebody.
This your main page?
Ooh, I hate
You don't like Afro?
iPhones. Oh my God, I hate them so. I hate them with a deep hate.
I did, baby. When she learned how to operate.
Never get out. Yeah. I just.
I used to sell every iPhone I got.
So we're gonna begin, you all. I don't want who was waiting on me. I definitely don't want them to think that I was trying to ignore them either. All right. Go away. You don't have to put that because I don't know the password unless you do. Who wants to go first?
And introduce, like, when you
Okay.
did an introduction, but
So, this is my sister Makima. It's, I'm sure everybody probably on here knows. And this is my husband Larry, of course. And I want to make sure that we are 100% honest, that we can help Chastity and Andrea. I want to make sure that we can help somebody tonight. So, and Andrea. We're going to tell y'all some truths. We're going to tell y'all some real, raw, helpful truths that hopefully will get you, will keep you from making terrible mistakes before you get into marriage or while you're in a marriage. So, sorry, y'all. Excuse me one moment. I'm trying to Find Andrea. Where's Andrea? The Andrea I'm looking for. Be patient with us. All right. Some people are getting on. I forgot. They said make sure I put them in there, but the Facebook wouldn't work.
Y'all please bear my wife. This is her first time doing an actual, well, short notes like this. First time doing a YouTube like this. So then you're trying to migrate people and stuff like that.
So that's okay. We don't want it. I'm sure everybody will see it. That's what's most important. Cause I'm ready to eat, but I'm ready to get on here and. All right, Andrea's here. Andrea's here. Okay, I was like, where is that? I couldn't even find you, Andrea, at first. So, y'all already know Larry and my story. We told this story so much, so y'all should want our book though. It's very raw and it's very detailed. Our book is coming soon, but with our story, I want to talk about the bad that happened. You remember we were talking about in the beginning, not our marriage now. I say this over and over again when I tell the story. This is when we first started talking, but it was still feelings involved. It was still, it was still commitment enough because he had already spoken about, I want to be exclusive. I wanted to just be you and me. Where I was in a place of peace and transitioning. And I was telling him today, I said I should tell people, never let a person bring their storm to your peace. And not that he was a storm, but Larry didn't have it all together. And I was at least in somewhat of a peaceful place. Yeah, I was at peace. I was just in transition and trying to figure some other things out, but I was at peace. I was good. So, inviting him in, of course, I was going to have to, accept some things that came with him, but I should have been more prayerful, even though it ended up being my husband. Thank God he worked it out well, but I should have been more prayerful about just accepting what he said. Just accepting what he said. Do not just go into anything because you care about somebody, because you have a connection with that person. Based upon what they said. Don't think that just because they say, I'm ready, that they're ready. Make sure that you really pray this thing out. If you're single, listen to me. Make sure you are praying. It all sounds good until
mad they come.
Yeah, until that day of temptation comes to get angry, to get whatever, whatever that might be. It sounds good. And Larry told me something very important today that I think women need to hear. And so I think I want to let him say what he, today about when I said, I was ready and this and that. He was just coming out of the world. I just want him to take you, because since this is YouTube, I know it's going to also be a different audience to see this. And again, my name is Katima. It's my YouTube page. This is my sister Makima. This is my husband Larry. I'm supposed to be here, been here. But this is my YouTube page. I'm an avid believer in Jesus Christ. I want to put him out there already, Yeshua HaMashiach. I want to say that from the start. And I want this to be a real page. I want this to be a page that shines light up, right back to Jesus Christ, the same way my Facebook is. I want this to be a place where people can come and hear truth, be encouraged, be warned, whatever it is that God has for me to do. So I do want my husband, though, to tell you his point of view, like what he felt he should have done. He could have done differently in the beginning, not while we were married. Let's get that straight right now, not during the marriage, but in the beginning of the relationship.
Well, hello everyone. Like my wife stated, I'm Larry. I'm her husband, her first and only husband. But all jokes aside, earlier my wife and I we were speaking about the different topics or whatever, and one particular topic came up. Before my wife and I got married. This is pre vows, pre I do. This is before This is like the very beginning when we first decided to come together as one, as far as relationship wise. Um, I had my wife had been, walking with the Lord, for a good while, and I decided um, to give my life to God. But earlier, it dawned on me that before before I gave my life, before before I committed to my wife, before I made that commitment, I felt as if I should have um, taken more time with myself alone, as a man, really getting to know myself, and mainly, more importantly, getting to know God. Establishing that relationship with Him. Because I see, because I made a horrible decision. Um, I allowed my past to pull on me. When I made the decision to walk with the Lord, I was still I'm right here. I'm in the world. I'm still in the world. I'm walking with God. It was a decision made, but it was something that needed to be warded off. Spiritually. Um, and I told my wife earlier that before I made that commitment to fully commit to you like that, I should have pursued God instead of pursuing you. I should have pursued God fully, like just straight focus on pursuing God. Instead of my pursuit being, us being one and us being in relation.
Totally agree.
You know, because with that, I could have, I wouldn't have brought my baggage, that I was dealing with, my struggles that I was dealing with, the ties that I had, and at the time, during that time, I knew nothing about spiritual warfare. I knew nothing about spiritual ties. I knew nothing about none of this stuff. I just went
Soul ties.
soul ties. So I just went into this relationship, just feeling no, but in my spirit, I'm knowing that she's the one. It's just that my timing, I feel like I was a bit hasty. So even though God worked everything out for our good, I feel like that particular hurt that I caused in her life could have been avoided if I would have just focused more on my pursuit of God than my pursuit of her.
Like your spirit needs to catch up with your flesh. What you said earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
That was powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He said like my his flesh needs to catch up with his spirit.
Yeah.
That's what it was. His spirit was like, I want more, but his flesh needed to catch up to his
My
spirit.
flesh needs to be stomped on more.
Yeah, yeah.
Shoot.
And I feel like if my husband would have pursued the Lord more than pursuing me in the beginning, then we would have, even the beginning would have been beautiful. But it's beautiful, like you said, it all worked out for our good by God's grace, but there was some pain in the beginning, like when we first started, not marriage. I'm talking about just us dating and stuff that could have been prevented. And just, it was just unnecessary, but at the same time, it was so necessary because of how God works it out for our good. So let a man spend that time with the Lord. Let a man look, ladies, require that he goes to counseling with the wonderful counselor.
Yes, ma'am.
Require that. Are you sure? Because Larry was like, I'm sure, I'm certain. Nobody knows who's certain like God. See, we think ready means, we think like we saying we're ready means ready. We think loneliness means ready. We think to have a desire means we're ready, but that doesn't mean you're ready. You're only ready when you're ready, and God knows when you're ready. That's why you have to pursue Him in such a way. Let Him guide you until you're sure, so you won't end up hurting a person, and so you won't end up allowing yourself to be hurt. I can say where I dropped the ball in the beginning was lowering my standards, disobeying God just to please Him. So see, I opened the door just like He did. I just did it differently. I lowered my standards. I knew where I was with God. I knew where I needed to stay. But for me feeling like, He's a man, and of course He's going to want some love. He's going to want something, I need to it's nothing wrong with it. I feel like we're gonna be together. I should have sex with him. See, the moment in your mind that you start compromising, you better start praying. The moment that you start reasoning with what God told you, you start praying. We're telling you this so you won't make mistakes. I was reasoning with God, and not in a good way. My reasoning led to compromising. When you gotta make it make sense, don't deal with it. All right. When you gotta sit there and make it make sense, you pray and you wait. Because I shouldn't be forcing anything to make sense. I shouldn't be forcing something in my head to be right when I know God is telling me this is not right. I shouldn't make excuses for settling. And that's what I did. And so I opened the door to my heart to get hurt. Because had I not done that, then God wouldn't have allowed me to be hurt. You know, he wouldn't have allowed that. But you know, that was a lesson that I learned. You don't want a man to pursue you more than he's pursuing God. If a man, I'm telling you, you don't want an ungodly man. You want a man, as a matter of fact, who is, look, I'm striving, I'm pressing forward. You want a man, ask God right now, if you're praying and you're single, say, God, I want my husband to be in love with you. I want my husband to truly love you. I want my husband to be on fire for you, God. See, this is another lesson. We pray about what we want our husbands to be to us. Pray first about what you want your husband to be to God. I'm telling you. And this is my sister. She has a different story about marriage, and it is powerful, and it is so brave of her to me to share something like this. But here she is. I'm gonna scoop.
Hello, people. My story of marriage is just a tad bit different, but it definitely is going to speak to those of you who are waiting to marry, who are trusting God for marriage. I can tell you this. I married quick and I divorced quick. And the reason is because I was asking God, as my sister said, more for what I wanted rather than seeking his hand and seeking his guidance when it came to picking a mate for me. My story ended up being much like the children of Israel and King Saul. I was lonely, hardworking, single mother, had life pretty much together. I was on the right track. But boredom and loneliness crept in. So the enemy crept in. And there were plenty of times that I would be like, I'm fine, God, me and you in this place, and I love it. Other times, I slipped. Other times, I was like, okay, God, well, you ain't moving fast enough, and I need to do this or that, because how's somebody going to see me if I'm always in the house or this or that? I was reasoning. And I started compromising. I started saying, well, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do that, when God was telling me to be still. Anyway, I ended up meeting my ex-husband, and Satan knows exactly how to do it. He made him look like what I wanted. He made him talk like what I wanted. And even when, or before we were married, God told me that was not his choice. And instead of listening to God, I went to a church. I let somebody else tell me I don't see anything but peace. Now that, like my sister said, that could have been the case. You know, that particular person probably did see peace. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, well, God was really telling me that this wasn't it. But we ended up getting baptized. We ended up praying together. And so I felt like, okay, God, maybe that was you. Maybe you are, saying that this is the person.
That's why this is deep, y'all.
There's also a story in the Bible where an older prophet deceived a younger prophet. The younger prophet should have heard the voice of God. He should have listened to what God told him.
Can I say something for 1 second? I told my sister, maybe because the Lord told you that there wasn't
He allowed that
he allowed that person to see you know, maybe so, or maybe, you know, but
Yeah, because
maybe.
I'm not saying that the prophet was a false prophet. Don't get me wrong. I do let me clear that up. But
Yeah.
like you said, because you know God has shown me that, like,
Yeah.
I let that prophet prophesy what your heart wanted.
Mm,
I gave you your will. I permitted
Mm.
you to have this king, Israel,
my
that
God.
you didn't need. You
Mm.
know, so got into marriage. It was peace, all right, for about 3 months, and the rest of it was pieces. But I still tried to fight, still tried to pray, and then I started to say, God, show me who I'm dealing with. Show me who I'm dealing with. So shortly after we were married, I was on Instagram and I got a message that came down, and it was from a stranger.
Oh my God.
And the stranger said, "Ma'am, I don't know you, and I'm not coming, trying to cause like confusion." She said, or he or she, I don't know to this day who it was. It's
Because
like,
the profile picture wasn't even.
yeah, yeah, it was just a 18-wheeler. And then they said, "Do you know? Do you know who you married?" And I'm like, "Okay, here we go with mess and drama,
Yeah.
But the Holy Spirit told me, Makima, humble yourself and listen to this person. So they told me that this man gets under women who love God, pretend to be a man of God. Um, they said whatever assets that you have, protect them, because he likes basically to tear women of God lives apart. But some, instead of me flashing out and saying whoever this person was hating, I read it to him, and when I read it to him, the fear that was on his face, and he was like, "I don't know who would say that, who would say," and it let me know then, like, I will see this come to fruition, because I knew that he was guilty of what that person said. I just knew it, but I still let it play out. I didn't divorce him right then because I wanted to make sure that the Holy Spirit was still talking to me. Anyway, so I just kept what the person said pretty much in the back of my mind and went on through the marriage. As time started to develop, I started seeing the true colors. So when he met me, I had a beautiful, big, nice home,
Yes.
luxury cars. I had, I was working at a school, at a college as an instructor. So I was making way, way, way more money. I was in a good place. I must say, by the grace of God, I was in a good place. So he was watching that from afar. So it was never about she loved God. It was never about she's going to be a good wife or I love her. It was about, let me get under her and see what I can get and what I can benefit from this marriage. Now, don't get me wrong. I will not sit here and lie and say he didn't work hard, because he did. He worked very hard. I will not say that he didn't provide, because he did. I will not say that, when I asked for something, he gave it. But God started to show me, don't get too happy. That was an investment. That was not given to you out of love. That wasn't given to you because he truly cared. That was given to you so he could keep tabs.
Plant a seed.
Exactly. And come back around and say, I did this and I did that and you owe me. And it's so many times in that marriage I had to stop and tell him, hey, I'm not for sale. You can't buy me as a husband and nobody else. So I started to follow my dream in real estate. I started to follow my dream in real estate, and at that time, my money started to get just a little bit low, because real estate, if anybody is in it who knows, is feast to famine. There can be months where, like I had a $10,000 month. Then months came with absolutely nothing. So when I had the $10,000 month, he was very, very happy and supportive, and you need to do this, and we need to. And when the drought came, I saw a totally different person. When he couldn't benefit anymore, God revealed to me his heart. Things started to get way, way, way different then. It started to become a different story. The giving wasn't so good then. It was this my money. It's my money, and you this and you that. And I said, thank you, Father. Instead of it hurting me, I started to receive the correction from God. I started to say, I, Israel, asked for this king.
My gosh.
I asked for Saul. Thank you for giving me Saul to show me what's on the inside of me. And another thing that God revealed to me was Makima. Your motives weren't right either.
My gosh.
God showed me you didn't want a husband because you wanted to have a husband and serve your purpose.
Covenant.
For you all serve that purpose. In me, you wanted a husband so you can feel good about having legal sex.
My.
You wanted a husband because you wanted to say you have someone by your side, but what about me? You didn't care about the things that I cared about. You know,
That's
I started reading my Bible less. I started being more into striving for business and all of this, and God started to be pushed to the backseat of my life. I thank God for the correction. I thank God for the divorce. I thank God that He had to correct my spirit, because had He could have left me married. He could have left me married and could have pushed me right on to hell, thinking I was doing the right thing. So I wasn't bitter about how everything happened, and I didn't divorce him. Now he literally was going behind my back. He was saying, I'm about to start talking to other people, and I was like, oh, well, to the loop. God bless you and them. So it started to be little stuff. Then it started to be verbal, extreme verbal abuse. Then some, you know, had I allowed it, it would have been more physical abuse. But it was just like stuff like trying to grab you, rough you up and stuff. And I'm like, now that ain't gonna fly, because one of us gonna be in the grave, and it ain't gonna be me.
That's right.
So God let the real person come out. And you know what I said at the end of? He literally tried to sneak the divorce in. Piece by piece, he tried to sneak the divorce in. And I remember when it was ending, I said, God, I said, reveal to me what's going on around me. And I said, and I want to hear one of your servants speak to me. And what's Sheila's name? Sheila, what's the last name?
Watson.
Sheila Watson. Literally, Tim was like, you need to talk to Sheila. So I talked to Sheila Watson, and when she prophesied, it was exactly what God told me. And I'm the type of person like this. Can't know anybody prophesy to me.
That's right.
You can't touch me. You can't touch. I don't care who you are. If God didn't tell me first, if He didn't tell me first, you might as well just stop talking to me. You know, because I know for an absolute fact I do have a relationship with my Father. He's going to tell me first, and you're going to come and you're going to confirm what He said. So,
I want you to tell you something, your spirit agrees with.
Exactly. So, but you know, I'm just saying like how He works. You know, He works everybody differently. But for me, I'm like, you gonna tell me first. You know what I'm saying? You are in me. So I know for a fact. Like if my sister tells me something 9 times out of 10, I just be like, because I know for a fact certain people really do hear from God. Now, when you force God's voice, when you make it say what you wanted to say, that's when the problems come in.
Yep.
And that's how it was in his marriage. So everything that he started to do, I was already up on it. I was emailing the lady at the court. I told my children, I said, hey, I'm not going to sit here and argue about who going to keep this house. I'm not going to argue about any of this stuff. They was like, well, Mom, what we going to move the furniture? Well, what we going to do this? We giving it all away. Thousands of dollars in furniture. Come get it.
Yep.
We giving it all away.
I'm a witness.
I left with the clothes on my back, my car, and my kids. That's all I walked out of that marriage with. I didn't fight. I didn't try to make nobody life a living hell. I could have tried to fight for alimony. I could have said he gonna do it like this and I'm gonna do it like that, but I did not.
Some things could have happened negatively to
Exactly,
him.
yes.
To him.
They
you
could
know,
have.
and it didn't.
They
You
could
know?
have. So many, especially so many males that know.
Yeah.
It could have been bad, but you know what? I said, I refuse to give Satan any more power than he has already received.
That's right. That's right.
God, you taught me something, and I walked away from this.
Yes.
I walked away from this.
You walked away. You walked away with everything when you walked away with God.
By the grace of God. And I said, it's not worth your peace. It's not. People don't even realize you can be married and still living in sin. Because if God didn't put it together, then I guarantee you the man that's on the inside of you gonna put it asunder. Because it takes for God to put stuff together. That's a real marriage. That's the real truth. It's not two people that say he look good, he talking right. Demons go down in water and they come up wet demons. And that's exactly what happened. He played the part all the way to the baptismal pool. He played the part. I gotta get it. When I tell you, if they could just get civilians
But
Grammys,
God even told us there were going to be 3 marriages, and it was 3.
it was 3.
But we didn't. The way my sister even got married, we didn't even know. They had planned it, and we knew during, when it was time for them to get married.
And it
but
was spur of the moment.
Yeah.
When I tell you this is the God honest truth, when I got married, when we got married, when I tell you it was the day after everybody got baptized, we planned it. It even shocked me. I was getting married and then like, Lord, what is going on? But it was happening. But I can tell you one thing, wait on the Lord. Make sure, test the spirit by the spirit. I don't care how good somebody come to you. I don't care how good they look, how good they feel, how close they hold you at night, what they whisper in your ear. Make sure that you hear God before you invite a demon in your life. And then after the marriage, I turned around and I looked. I was telling my sister, I started getting filled with anger. Now this is something that'll let you know that it wasn't from God. I don't miss the individual not one bit. No feelings whatsoever for the individual. But my heart was filled with anger, so much for myself. I was like, I'm mad at myself because
that's all right.
you knew that was not God's choice for you, and you did it anyway. You did it anyway. Not only did you do it anyway, you let this man come from where he came from with nothing. With nothing now.
Ooh.
And you let this man basically swap lives with you temporarily.
My God.
He was left with the house and and whatever else he wanted to put in it. And now, and I'm not embarrassed to say or afraid to say, my sister and my brother opened up their door for me and my children. And at first I was like, God, you've been independent for so long, and you like, God, like, what am I going to do and this and that? Because my finances ain't where they were at that time. And then I looked at him start to get the money and the this, and it would always speak negatively about my real estate career. And I told my daughter, I said, why is my money
Speaking
drying
these
up?
word curses.
Yeah, I said, why is this? I literally married a warlock. I married a warlock who came in to destroy what God put on the inside of me. But the thing that I learned the most out of all of this is if you hold on to God, He's going to hold on to you. I'm not worried about what I lost, because what I gained is a closer relationship with my Father. I'm meeting people now who I never would have had the opportunity to meet. I'm meeting people now that the relationship we have and the business that we have planned to do, life can change overnight. And it will. It definitely will. I'll be back testifying, telling you about how everything has turned back around. Listen to God for any man or woman who is thinking about marrying someone. It's not that serious for you to rush yourself out of the will of God. That's what I have to do.
That was deep. That was deep. And for real, that takes a lot to tell people. Like, you gotta really want somebody to know, because usually when it goes through something like that, they can get bitter, they can get angry and say, I don't care if they do make mistakes, but that's love to say. She kept saying, sister, I don't want, somebody to make this mistake. I want to warn somebody. I want to tell somebody. I just feel like, just like I told her, what the Spirit of God actually told me. So, and I told her, she's such a queen. Like, she's like Deborah, like a judge, like such a queen, and there. It was just underneath, it was just beneath her. Not to say, not to say it like that, like somebody's trash, but you gotta know, you want somebody on your level. Let's be real. You want somebody on your level, and you want somebody who's equipped, or either striving for it.
Can I say something with that, sister?
Really, they on your level. They just gotta come up.
My sister definitely did tell me that, and I will tell anybody: if you have to dumb yourself down, if you have to mute the God in your life, if you have to make and mold a grown man or a grown woman. Now, I'm not gonna say that people change because they want to change.
That's right.
You can't cook good enough.
You can't change.
You can't sex them good enough.
Nuh-uh.
You can't be loyal enough. People will hate you for loving them. You cannot dumb yourself down because of other people. If you know what you deserve, wait on it. Don't let impatience take you once again out of the will of God. Don't let them do that.
I feel like for her to take this and say, I'm gonna bless somebody else with this. I'm gonna make sure somebody else don't make this mistake. Y'all, that's, to me, that's big, you know. And I told my sister, God got something big coming for her. So He has something big. It's not like it's just He loves her, and He has something big coming for her. And I can't tell her that, you know, just because I'm a sister. You know, I gotta hear God and what He's saying for real. Like, all she has to do is continue to hold on to God, and He has something so big coming for her. Something so amazing. She's not gonna be able to do it. God's gonna do it.
That's right.
No matter what she does, she's not gonna be able to do for her what God has coming for her. Because let me tell you something. When people walk into your life and you can walk away with lessons, and you can walk away with more knowledge, more wisdom, more strength. When you can walk away like that, you haven't lost anything. That's their loss. That's right. Their loss. You have not lost a thing. Like, you might have to recover in a natural, a certain way, which you don't even know what God's gonna do. But just the fact, either way, is gonna be recovery. So you may have to recover in the natural, but spiritually, the spiritual wreck a person is going to be who deliberately tried to destroy your life. You don't understand. It's hard to recover spiritually. It's hard to recover in the way that a person who was deliberate about what they did, it's hard to recover. You can get things, you know, people will give you things. People, I'm talking about new things, fine things. You know, God will bless you so much through other people. But it's hard to try to recover when you fumbled a person of God. When you fumbled a child of God, it's hard to try to recover that. Because everybody's not replaceable.
They are not.
Everybody isn't replaceable.
They are not. I'm telling you.
It takes people to get out here when they mess over good people and see. They mess over good friends. They mess over good family members. They mess over people. And it takes them to get out here and meet some messed up people like they are, for them to see, I had a good thing. I had it good. I was blessed. But about time they look up again, that good thing is where it belongs. With that man who found a wife. With that man who found a wife. Not found an opportunity. Not found somebody to use. Not found somebody's life to run. But a man who found a wife. And knew that he found a wife. A man that knew that, that looked and said, hey, this is a good thing. This is a good and perfect gift from the Lord. And I feel like my sister, that's what, by the grace of God, He's given her, like a man who truly knows how to be a steward, a good steward over the good gift that God is giving him. A man that knows, she's a leader. And I know that's what God has. So I told my sister, like, that the below her, that just below her.
That definitely won't happen again.
Yeah.
And for the women and men, you are nobody's problem. You are nobody's floor. A person don't get to decide how they want to treat you, if they want to mistreat you. Know who you are in God, because even in this marriage with this man and all of his ways, he couldn't break my spirit. And he used to always say, you different. You different, and you don't listen to nobody. You don't do this. No, I'm not different. I just want to let you be my God.
That's right.
You're a man. You'll never be my God. You'll never take the place of God. I don't care if you spend $7,000 on me in 5 minutes. You still gonna be a man, and you'll never take the place of God. And that's what the problem is with a lot of people. They want God's place in your heart. They want the throne of your heart, and when you refuse to give that throne up to man, man starts to say, now you're an enemy, and I'm going to try to tear you down and make your life a living hell. And the God in me said, walk away, leave it all, and show him who you serve. Show him that with me you have everything.
She didn't even look like she lost anything to me. That was so strong. That was so much strength to say, hey, give it all away. You know, do whatever. I'm walking away with my peace. That's everything. Like, I'm just walking away, no matter what I lost. I'm walking away with everything, and I'm still walking with God, see what God got for me. It's like, to me, something new, something fresh, like a beautiful start. Because let me tell you something, God will create a storm to show you what's around you too.
My God, yes, He
God,
will.
God will say, if I do it like this, He can't say. I'm gonna do it where you won't be hurt. I'm gonna do it where he cannot stay. He can't. Not in this environment, because people hang around us sometimes, you all, and they thrive in our environments, but the whole time they're killing us in our own environment. They're bloodsuckers, they're leeches,
Ooh.
and they're sucking the life from you. And you'll look up in the life, like she said, that they walked into your life and you'll lose it. So you want to make sure that this is God and it's not your own doing in any kind of way. You don't want to marry because you're lonely. You don't want to marry because you
Please
want to do
don't.
this the right way to have sex. You don't want to marry because somebody told you that y'all make a good couple. You want to marry because it's covenant and it's an agreement between you, God, and that person to really ride life out together, to really just walk in purpose together, in God's purpose for you together. And listen, you're not going to be able to fix you or another person. You got to take that to God. So if somebody comes in your life and they have a sex addiction, marriage is not going to fix that. If somebody comes in your life and they have they're hooked on something, or they're a narcissist, they're going to be there in the marriage, right? It's just going to be magnified. You're just married to it.
And you become legally bound to their demons now.
Yes.
Where you could have walked away just as boyfriend or girlfriend, dating or whatever. Now you're legally bound and you got to get out of contract with the spirit. Now you have to breach this contract with the spirit that you allowed into your life. And remember one thing, you can't pull an orange from an apple tree. It's either going to be an apple or nothing at all. And don't let people fool you with the good talk. Like, we have to have more discernment. I'm just going to be honest, especially for women. We're going to have way more discernment. You can't listen to somebody say, I always wanted a spiritual woman and a woman of God, but every time you try to say, oh, you do, let's read Psalms. Let's read Deuteronomy. Let's read Revelations. And they never have time for that, but have time for everything in the world. You cannot get an orange from an apple tree. You can't. Stop letting people just tell you anything. People just say whatever, because guess what? They're going to say, she jump every time somebody say God. But you don't make them prove anything. You don't test the spirit by the spirit. And then you get so intoxicated with the words. You get so intoxicated with the words until you're drunk on the words, and you never realize that they are spiritually raping and molesting you. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It's not.
Y'all be wise, be wise in your, let me tell you something. If you will allow God to do a work on you when you're alone, if you allow him, because you can take a lot of problems into a marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And you can allow somebody to bring theirs into yours. So this time that you're alone, it's the time to say, let me work this out of me, because I'll get into this marriage and bring this into this marriage, and it will be a major problem. It will be a major problem. You can say, like, I got a temper, I got daddy issues. You don't want to go into a marriage with daddy issues, because you're gonna make that man like your God. You're gonna stress him out, because he's not your daddy, he's your husband. You don't want to go into a marriage, with mama issues for the men, and you hate women and you angry, and people need to work out some stuff. It's some stuff you're gonna work out within the marriage, right? But you don't want to bring stuff into your marriage that you could have worked out in your singlehood, mm-hmm. and your time with God. If you would have given God an opportunity to work on you, he could have worked these things out of you, and you wouldn't have had to worry about bringing that into a marriage, because you want to, nothing is perfect, but you want peace in your marriage. You don't want it to be a burdensome marriage. You don't want it to be a troublesome marriage. You want to, as long as you can, to have peace, mm-hmm. to have joy in your marriage. You don't want it to be a burden, and you don't want to be burdened by it. A person that comes into the marriage with addictions, with issues, with trauma, all you can do is marry it.
Yeah.
If they don't, because marriage is not. My sister said, a lady said, please say that quote that lady said.
What? Which one?
My biggest mistake was thinking, that was deep.
She said her biggest mistake was thinking that I do was going to undo. I do don't undo. I do don't undo. And I can tell you that for a fact.
No.
They're not gonna people don't people do not change. They should take opportunities to get into your heart to grow. They want to grow. Some people, I don't think people understand this. Like some people make it their business to destroy and tear down others.
Yeah.
It's their they. I
You
feel
gotta
like,
look at a person's willingness to change.
and then another thing I feel like women get thrown off by is the pursuit. You will have somebody pursue you
speak.
relentlessly, and
Yes.
you'll say, "This man want me." He in my inbox every day. He calling every morning. "Hey, beautiful, I was thinking about you." When I tell you, stop just listening to everything. Stop just and remember one thing about the enemy. He will also lie to you in action. He'll lie to you in action too. He ain't gonna just say all the right things. He will do all the right things. And this is what God revealed to me too in this marriage. Makima, had you known me enough or been in me like you should have been, you would have known that that wasn't my voice. I don't care who you heard it through. I don't care if you would have heard it through the mouth of 10 prophets. You would have adhered to the still small voice that said that ain't it. But I'm showing you and bringing it to your attention that you didn't even know me like you thought you did. Or you
Back to
did
the
and you
singlehood.
chose to ignore me.
Yep.
You chose to ignore me.
Back to being single and spending that time with God that's necessary. You got to get to know your Father. You'll know that way. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm telling you, you will know. It's all about you and God. And once you get that in your head and stop trying to put everything in the place of God. I was telling my kids that the other night. We went to pick up my son, and I was telling him about his relationship with God. And he started to say, he's cut me off in the middle of me talking about his relationship with God. And it's like, me and you, we need to get back together. Well, that'll never be. You know, we hadn't been together in 19 years, so that'll never be. And God brought it to my attention to tell him, stop. When God is trying to take place and take root in your heart, stop trying to push God out and fill it up with everything else. God saying, hey, here go my hand. I mean, I'm right here. I'm ready to love you. No, I'm going to get Tom. Tom don't work out. We back to using God. I'm going to just wait, God, and I ain't going to do it. So God said, okay, I'm back and I'm ready again, you know, to sit on the throne of your heart. I'm going to go now, God. I'm going to go fill it up with Louis, and I'm going to get a Birkin bag, shop and make me feel good. Or I'm going to fill it up with a drink. Or I'm going to fill it up with a party. Stop trying to put everything on the throne of your heart when God is begging you for a place. Don't make him... See, this is the thing about God. He warns you before the destruction starts. Don't let God have to bring destruction in your life by breaking your heart sometimes, tearing you down, making you lose everything, but he'll hurt you to help you. God will hurt you to help you. And you have to understand that this place in my heart, this throne belongs to one. I will have no other lover beside him. And the minute you understand that, your mind not going to even be on people and I need a man and I'm lonely and I can't do this by myself. Your mind is going to be on Yahushua HaMashiach, on the Son of God. It's going to be on God. It's going to be on the Father. It's going to be on the things of the kingdom. You're not going to have time to be worried about what other troubled soul can I bring into my life, and now we two troubled souls. Let God do it. Let him do it. God sometimes is, you said something one time on the live, you said the waitress, y'all went to a restaurant, and you said that you was looking at the waitress might give everybody food out and you was getting upset. And then said, when they finally got to you, they said, I wanted to make sure that yours was fresh. Stop eating half-cooked, undone, dry, unhealthy spiritual food. Let God give you something whole. Let God give you something that's going to nourish you, that's going to fill you up. Because let me tell you something. When you force your own temporary will, you're going to deal with the temporary results. And God was telling me it's no need in you being embarrassed about a divorce. Tell the truth. Help somebody else. Because guess what? Once I get you out of everything that this caused, you're going to thank me. And then they'll thank me. If you listen. See, this is one thing my daddy used to say. I can't teach you spirit. I can tell you all day long about the warning signs. I can preach to you blue, black, green, yellow in the face. You have to, when you hear God's word, you hear his warning, you got to let it take root in your heart. You have to get out of your own way. I said before, if you have an enemy on the outside, you stand a good chance of defeating that enemy.
That's right.
Because you know they're there. You can't do nothing with an enemy sitting on the inside of you that you refuse to confront. Tell the truth about yourself. If you can tell it about everybody else, tell the truth about yourself.
That's right.
Tell God I'm impatient. Tell God I really don't want to trust you because I want instant gratification and I really want my own way. Tell the truth to God and say, reading the Bible is perfectly fine, but I'm more interested in this man in my inbox who's telling me sweet lies. Tell the whole truth to God, because that's the only way you're gonna really heal. It's no need in you trying who you in the secret places of your heart. Who you lying to? He right there. He already knows. And just like you said, you got to live with you. You got to take you wherever you go. God showed me another thing. If you were in previous relationships and those guys didn't work out, you got married, Makima, and that didn't work out, you can say what you want to say. The common denominator is you. I was the common denominator. You know why I was the common denominator? Because I refused to wait on God. Refused. Knowing how beautiful it can be when you wait on God. Knowing how good the gifts of the Father are. How beautiful they are. How they add to your life. They bless you and don't add sorrow. But you would much rather food with fillers in it than a home-cooked meal from the Father.
My gosh. Jeez.
You got to get out of our own way, and you got to stop lying to everybody else like, these men ain't no good. You ain't no good. Because you won't listen to God. That's just the truth. God showed me you ain't no good either. You ain't no, because if you were any good, you would wait on me. If you was any good, you would stop being in a rush. And then stop putting a time frame on your weight. Exactly. Putting a time frame on your weight. I done waited 6 months, God. You ain't here. That's long.
Right.
That's about long enough. Let me go see who in my inbox and the one that been saying, hey, beautiful, that I ignored. Let me just say hi. Like you so bougie. Hi. Girl, please just stop it. You gotta tell the truth to yourself. I'm just being honest. You gotta tell the truth to yourself. Because that hi mean I'm ready to entertain you now. And God saying, would you please sit down and wait before you destroy yourself? Because I'm going to tell you this too.
That's right.
The time may come that you get out of God's will and you don't make it back in.
That's true.
You got to listen. And you got to be real to yourself before you be real to anybody else. Before you be real to anybody else. Be real to you. Be real to God. That's the one who's going to give you the strength to wait. The strength to wait. You don't have to go through what I went through. I used to always ask my kids, I said, well, who would you listen to when it's coming, when it's regarding somebody telling you about why not to become an alcoholic? I said, would you listen to somebody who never had a drop of alcohol in their body, or would you listen to a drunk? You're going to listen to the drunk because he lives every day as an alcoholic. He knows that it can destroy your life. He knows that it can tear your body up, make your wife leave, make your children hate you. The drunk knows that. So when you got somebody like yourself and any other of God's children who are willing to tell you from a spiritually drunk's point of view to wait on God, for you end up walking into something you can't get out of. Just wait on it. I promise you, it's not going to kill you.
You know what I see while my sister was talking? I was praying because the Lord was showing me tickets, but it was like angels giving out tickets like police officers. And what happened is when we start rushing, the Lord sends his angels like give her a ticket. Give him a ticket. Yeah, give him a ticket because you gotta warn them. A ticket is I gotta find you because you got out of my will.
Yes.
I gotta give you this ticket though because you don't understand. You traveling at high speed. It could be death. It could mean death for you. So I'm pulling you over, and that's a blessing while she was talking, the Lord was
My
just showing me
goodness.
that I was seeing angels with paper, and it was handing them, the angels were handing them in windows, and I was like, I wonder what God is showing me. And then I saw officers, and I was like, oh my God. So the angels have been like, I'm issuing tickets. We out here, and we're patrolling for God. We're patrolling and we're issuing tickets because we're trying to get you to slow down, because we're trying to tell you that you can't go at this speed anymore. It can cause death now.
Jesus.
It's now, you can't get away with it anymore, because now it could cost you your life.
And don't put the angels on a high-speed chase. Don't make God angels have to chase you down like that. Don't put them on a high-speed chase. Pull over, take the citation, and learn a lesson. Because it's going to save you. It's going to save you. And then if you are with someone and you're second guessing and you don't know if it's God,
Love yourself.
don't try to force it to fit. Stop trying to force it to fit. Because when you have to do all of that forcing, that's not peace. And God said, follow peace. God is a God of peace. It's not the author of confusion. Give yourself time to see if this is God's choice. Some of these people are, if God said, I'm putting you in the middle of a banquet, and there will be 100 guests there to bless you. All 100 of those people are going to bless your life in a way that it'll never be the same. And the guest of God, God said, okay, the guest that I have for you, the banquet will start at 5. The guests that I have for you, they're going to start coming in at 8 o'clock. And you get impatient talking about the food's going to get cold. I'm way out here for nothing, and start inviting all of these people in that God did, and none of the ones that God came in. You got 100 people, and then you say, thank you, Lord, you said you was going to fill it. You said you was going to fill the house. And God said, with what? Because what is that? I told you I was bringing 100. No, I didn't give you the time. I didn't tell you that they would come in at 8. I wanted to surprise you because they had the best gifts for you. Now they have no room to come into the hall. Now they have no room to get in because you filled this room with choices that were never mine.
And sometimes you can be so full and not even know it. People think like putting somebody in that place means I'm full, or something's here. Sometimes the empty space, the emptiness you're feeling, just you're being alone with nobody in this space, is just you and God. Sometimes that's all the fullness that you need.
That's it.
You need that time
That's it.
for God to speak to you. And a lot of women and men go in relationships not even knowing their worth. So now they're in a relationship waiting for somebody to define them, and waiting for somebody to validate them, and waiting for somebody to say you are important. You do mean a lot. You are. But that same person, if that person defines you, then that same person has the power to redefine you and start saying you're nothing, you're this, you're trash, you're that. So and you go into the relationship giving somebody power. Look, a man is standing at your door is knocking. A man is standing at your door knocking. And Jesus is this for the sisters. Jesus is standing at your door and knocking. A lot of times we say you can come in, and we move Jesus out of the way. No, you need to let Jesus in, and brother, you're gonna have to go home. Meet Jesus, and we need to take care of what we need to take care of. He's knocking at the door of your heart. Let Jesus in first, because when Jesus comes in, Jesus becomes a bodyguard. They can't come in.
Oh my goodness.
He can't. He's not right. You got a bodyguard now watching your heart, because we'll say you knocking. We don't even say who is it. That's why I keep saying we still say who is it. When your mom and daddy, somebody knock on the door and say, you say who is it. You just don't open the door. You can't do that to your heart and your spirit. Most importantly, you got to say who is it. You got to say, God, who is knocking at the door of my heart? Who is this? I have fun with this part, because we can't leave it out, because this is how they creep in. I enjoy this person. We laugh together. We have so much in common. We do this, we do that, we do that. You start naming all of this stuff. Our socks match, our shoes match. We got this. Got to be the one. They love this. No, I want our devotion to God to match. I want us both to love God. I want us to both walk together so we can agree that this thing is going to work out, so we can agree that this is truly of God, and we can make it work. Like, how really purpose in this thing, because agreeing is, to me, it's purpose. We got purpose in this.
That's exactly right. And then if I'm full of God and you're full of the devil, and we trying to make it work, it never will. Like, it never will. We're in two different kingdoms. We trying to merge two different kingdoms. It'll never work.
Clash.
And then I watched a movie one time, and it was a queen, very, very, very powerful queen, and she started having an affair with this servant. Everybody in her royal court was like, "What are you doing? You're about to ruin your kingdom." Because of her lust and the way she burned for this servant, she didn't listen to any type of wise counsel. So the servant started getting closer and closer. He started knowing more and more of her secrets. He started knowing what her plan was when it came to how she was going to attack another country, another land. He knew everything. In the end of the movie, the queen ended up being beheaded. The queen ended up being beheaded because guess what? The servant came in, got all of her secrets and plans, proved to the people that in some kind of way that she had committed treason, but people couldn't see it because she was a queen. He wanted the throne. He ended up getting exactly what he came for, because guess what she was fool enough to do before she got beheaded? She was fool enough to marry the servant. And by her marrying the servant, having no heirs of her own, no children, he became king. It went to her, the throne went to her spouse. He wanted the throne so he can get her beheaded, learn her secrets. And then I'm going to tell you what the enemy do. They'll even create a plan with you. They'll sit down and make it and have you feel like this is my dog. They really, really for me. This boy, I'm telling you, you can't nobody tell me he ain't for me. He be saying the whole time, fool, fool, fool. 50 people done told you. And warned me about you. And guess what? You listen to none of them. And that's exactly what happened in the movie. She slept with the servant. She married the servant. He became a king. Then turned around and said, "This is real. This happens real." And turned around, told the people that she committed treason. She got her head cut off. As a matter of fact, it's a series on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there, but it's called Rain.
Yeah,
go look at it.
Somebody can walk into your life and destroy you. This is why I believe God kept moving my sister, like, I want to help somebody.
I'm telling you.
Somebody can walk into your life and turn it upside down. In your marriage, you can allow somebody in. If you have a good marriage, you can allow an outside person to come into your marriage and tear it down. Listen, y'all, sin is not worth it. I remember I was looking at this skirt. I mean, beautiful skirt. $3,000. I said, what? I wish I would. It was beautiful, but I wasn't willing to pay that cost. You better see that in your life. He might be handsome, she might look good, but that cost is not worth it. I'm telling you. I was like, I can go get a skirt like this from anywhere. I mean, like, somebody gonna know how much it costs. This thing, $3,000. I was like, no way in the world. I'm not willing to pay that cost. And if you're not willing to pay the cost, you better hold it up and let it be known you're not that beautiful. You're not that beautiful for me to lose my livelihood, my joy, my peace, my happiness that the Lord gave me. The things that God gave me before you ever came along, you're not worth it. The price tag is, y'all, the price tag of sin, the price tag of not waiting on God, which is sin, because we end up in disobedience.
Exactly.
We end up out of God's will. The price tag out of being of God's will is too costly. We don't want to. It's too costly.
I'm trying to tell you, listen. I warned somebody about something last night, and they went and did it anyway.
Yeah.
Now, and this is another thing. When God warns us, sometimes those tears and those cries and those pleas won't be enough because you had your warning. And believe this too about God, y'all, when we disobey Him. Sometimes that last knife we put in His back be the last one.
God.
Sometimes the mercy seat grow cold. Sometimes God is saying, this is the last time you and your sin will betray me.
Sometimes that cup of wrath gets full.
I'm telling
He
you.
gonna pour it out. He's gonna pour it out on you because you did this. I didn't feel it. You did. Every
trying to tell
time you
you.
told me no, every time you did things your way, you feel this cup of wrath, and I'm gonna pour it out on you. So I hope y'all. I know. So I hope you all got something out of this. I hope you all will be prayerful. I'm not speaking last. I'm gonna let my sister Larry do it. But I hope as a man you don't. I hope that you all would just really listen, like for real. This is not just a talk. Really hear God in your marriage, if you're married now, and definitely before you allow somebody in your life. It's nothing wrong with waiting on God, you all. It's nothing wrong with just making sure before you say I do that God has said that He hasn't said I don't or you shouldn't. Make sure that, okay, God, you're okay. If you're okay, then I can do this. If you haven't given me, we want to proceed even when we aren't sure. No, proceed when the roadway is clear. Let the Lord tell you that the roadway is clear and you can take flight. If not, you're going to crash and burn. That's all I have to say for tonight.
And I'll say, I don't care how opportune the moment seems, how pretty the dress is, how big the venue is. I don't care if you come in with a chariot and a 5 white horses. If God said it's not him, it's not him. Listen to God. Wait and see. The road to hell is broad. Many gonna travel that road. So that means that the majority of the people you run into, both men, women, boy, and girl, the majority of humans are choosing. They're not gonna choose God's way.
Right.
They're not gonna choose His will. If they were, the road to heaven would be broad. You're dealing with a lot of demons and a lot of ill spirit people who have made a conscious decision to be that way and to stay that way. The road to heaven is narrow and few travel that road. If you're on that road, trust that God will give you one of the few that are on that road with Him just like you are, so that He can put you guys in godly covenant, so that He can put you in godly union. Because if you're on the road, this narrow road, and you go hold hands and grab somebody from this broad road and say, God, I want them to come over here, you know what's going to happen? God going to say, both of y'all go over there. Because this for the holy people.
That's right.
This road, people who want to do this right for real. This road ain't for the people who want to have legal sex. This road not for the people who just want something, space fillers, to fill the spaces that they don't want to spend with me because it's too boring to spend time with me. This road not for them. So if you want to be on the, God is not going to force you to be on the narrow road. If you don't want the narrow road and you want to deal with people who are loving this broad road, then you go right ahead. If you want to stay with God and be on the narrow road,
that's the thing.
choose Him above all else. I'm trying to tell you. It's not a man and a woman in this world that's worth for one, your salvation and your relationship with God. It's not worth your peace. It's not worth the posture and the place that God has you in. Trust God, man. I'm telling you, you gotta trust Him.
And I want to.
Brother King too.
I want to say from a man's standpoint, it's like it's really women on here. So I want to speak. I'm pretty sure men will eventually see this video. I want to. It's like this word that came forth on tonight. Don't just take it. Don't just take these words as just, okay, it was just a good message tonight.
That's right.
Like, let it really penetrate your heart and really, like, take heed to what's being said, because I know for a fact that these words that were spoken on tonight is for somebody. I'm telling you.
That's right.
And some of you all have been receiving tickets in the spirit, like my wife said that God showed her. Some of you all have been receiving tickets in the spirit, and those tickets are piling up, and when tickets begin to pile up like that, spiritually, it's going to be a greater cost. You know what I'm saying? Whether that cost is, receiving diseases that even natural and spiritual diseases that you can't get rid of. And a lot of times, when you involve yourself and doing things outside of God's will and doing things your way, it can lead to death, permanent death. You know what I'm saying? And
Listen while you can. You don't want it to get that far. And I thank God by His grace and mercy, He snatched me. He snatched me, man. I thank Him for it.
and it's just very important that just take heed. Like that's my prayer is that whoever may see this video, like please take heed to the warnings and the message that went forth on tonight. And for the men, like it's time for men to truly stand up and to be who God has called and predestined them to be. You know, because even when you read the scriptures, the Bible, it warns the world, it warns men so much about women. It's just the truth. And it's important that men stop being so consumed with lust. It's very important that we as men, that we fast, that we get rooted in God. Because if not, we just gonna be out here just free, just freelancing on that broad road that my sister was speaking about. And I was on that road, but God, I humbled myself and submitted myself to God, and because I was going fast down that slippery slope, down that slippery slope, and being in darkness, you know, and it's and when you in it, you're so blind, to Satan's attacks. He attack you so many ways, you know. So I just want to encourage my brothers out there, just the men who, even if it's just one man that will see this message, you know what I'm saying? My prayer is that you would, on this day, at this moment, surrender, submit, humble yourself, and repent, you know, because God has a purpose for you, a great purpose for you on this earth. You're not just here just to be, you know, this world teach men, you know, that we're here to you know, be womanizers and do this and do that. You know, it's so much more to life, you know, because it's purpose. You have great purpose, and you know, and I'm going to fulfill my purpose, you know, because I seek God daily, and that's I'm making my daily goal, you know, to like, hey, what's my purpose today? Like, what do you want from the day? Sometimes he might be like, hey, just chill out, just rest today. And sometimes he might be like, hey, I need you here, doing this. So just be encouraged, you know, and please,
Listen.
take heed and listen
Listen.
to the word that went forth on tonight. You know, that's all I have.
God bless you. Well, God bless y'all.
All right, y'all.
Y'all have a blessed night. Now I don't know how to end. I don't know how to end on YouTube. Now, I don't know how to. So let me see, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Let me close myself up. Let me close my thing. Is it the X? Hey, y'all. Are you sure you want to stop streaming? Okay, hold on. Y'all, I don't know how to close it, so y'all be patient with me, okay?
What that button right there stand?
Turn that light made me look like I got some real big
What
eyes.
this mean?
What is this? Oh, never mind. We're not worried about that. That's not it. Okay, well, hopefully it'll stay up. If not, hey. Good night, y'all. Love y'all.